Discipline is not something that just happens to you. It is a decision that you make daily, even when everything inside of you screams for comfort. Most people wait for a surge of motivation before they act, but the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. Discipline, however, is a choice to show up, to move forward, to take the next step when you don't feel like it. When you train yourself to act without emotion, you begin to rewire your mind for greatness. The difference between those who win and those who wish is that the winners learn to move even when they felt weak. Feelings are temporary, but discipline builds permanence. The person who is ruled by emotions will always be tossed around by circumstances, never gaining stability or consistency. The disciplined person builds momentum regardless of how they feel. You can't wait until you feel ready, because that moment never truly comes. Readiness is created through repeated action. Each day you act in spite of resistance, you strengthen the muscle of self-control. That control is what separates those who live with purpose from those who live by chance. Every time you choose discipline over emotion, you send a signal to your mind that your goals matter more than your mood. That signal reshapes your identity. You stop identifying as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who does. When you say you'll do something and follow through, even when you don't feel like it, you build credibility with yourself. And that self-trust becomes one of the most powerful forces in your life. It means you can rely on you. People often think successful individuals are naturally more motivated or gifted. The truth is, they simply built the habit of consistency through discipline. They didn't wait for inspiration. They acted and created their own momentum. When you decide that your actions are not controlled by emotion, you break free from the cycle of inconsistency. You become dangerous in the best way, because nothing can stop a person who does what they said they would do no matter how they feel. Discipline is the art of silencing excuses. It's the quiet power of choosing progress over comfort, responsibility over distraction. It's not glamorous, and it's not loud. Most of the time, it looks like waking up when you're tired, studying when your mind wanders, showing up when no one else does. The small moments of commitment that nobody sees are the foundation of the results everyone admires. Discipline is forged in private long before it's praised in public. The real battle is not with the world outside of you. It's with the inner voice that whispers, "You can do it later." Discipline silences that voice. It tells your mind who's in charge. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if you're exhausted, or if you failed before. Discipline says, "We're going anyway." That attitude changes everything. It removes the option of giving up and replaces it with the command to grow. You don't negotiate with your goals when you live with discipline. You execute them. There's a kind of peace that comes with discipline, even though it feels like struggle at first. Because when you train your mind to obey your purpose instead of your feelings, life becomes simpler. You no longer have to debate whether or not you'll take action. You just do it. You no longer waste energy wondering how you feel about doing the work. You just start. That simplicity leads to power because your energy is no longer scattered. It's focused entirely on execution. The longer you practice discipline, the more natural it becomes. At first, it feels heavy, unnatural, even exhausting. But over time, your habits take over. What once felt like sacrifice becomes normal. You stop needing to push yourself because your standard has been raised. You've taught your mind that discomfort is not danger, it's direction. Every disciplined act becomes a declaration that you are no longer driven by how you feel, but by what you've decided. There's a transformation that happens when you stop relying on emotion and start relying on principle. You become consistent, reliable, and unshakable. Discipline gives you stability when life becomes uncertain. It allows you to keep building when everyone else is breaking. Because while emotion reacts to the world, discipline creates it. Emotion asks, do I feel like it? Discipline commands, do it anyway. And that command builds empires. To force yourself to do hard things, you must value your vision more than your feelings. You must remind yourself every day that emotions are signals, not masters. They can inform you, but they cannot lead you. When you build a life on discipline, you stop being driven by moods and start being driven by mission. You learn that the key to success is not intensity, it's consistency. And consistency only comes when discipline becomes your default. Pain is not your enemy, it is your instructor. Every challenge, every obstacle, every hard moment you face is designed to teach you something that comfort never could. Growth does not happen in ease. It happens in resistance. The reason most people stay stuck where they are is that they run from anything that feels uncomfortable. They pray for strength, but hide from the situations that build it. The truth is, pain is the price of power. You can't rise to new levels without first enduring the pressure that comes with transformation. When you begin to see pain differently, you stop avoiding it and start embracing it. You realize that the things that stretch you are the same things that strengthen you. Every failure, every setback, every disappointment has the potential to build something inside you: patience, humility, resilience, wisdom. These qualities are not formed in comfort. They are forged in the heat of difficulty. The process may hurt, but it's shaping you for the greatness that's waiting on the other side. Every time life pushes against you, it's testing your commitment to your vision. It's easy to talk about success when everything feels good, but real strength is proven when nothing goes according to plan. When the doors close, when people walk away, when your effort seems unseen, that's when your character is being developed. The pain you feel in those seasons is not punishment, it's preparation. You're being equipped to handle the very things you've been asking for. The more pressure you face, the more potential you reveal. Diamonds are created under extreme heat and pressure. Without it, they would remain simple carbon. The same principle applies to you. Without the pressure of hard things, your potential remains hidden. The situations that make you want to quit are the same situations that can make you unstoppable. When you push through pain, you activate a power within you that you didn't even know existed. The path to greatness is never smooth, and it's not supposed to be. The people who achieve extraordinary things are the ones who have learned how to stay calm in chaos and focused in frustration. They've learned to turn pain into purpose. Instead of saying, "Why me?" they ask, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift changes everything. Because once you see pain as a lesson instead of a limitation, you stop feeling like a victim and start acting like a victor. Pain also reveals what you truly believe about yourself. When everything is going well, faith is easy. But when life hurts, your belief system is tested. It's in those moments that you find out if you're built on excuses or on principles. When you can still move forward through pain, it means your foundation is strong. It means your vision is anchored deeper than your feelings. Pain exposes weakness, but it also builds endurance. And endurance is what separates those who give up from those who rise. Every season of struggle carries hidden strength. The very thing that feels like it's breaking you is often building you. You may not see it in the moment, But pain has a way of sculpting your mindset, reshaping your priorities, and refining your focus. It removes what's unnecessary and strengthens what's essential. The process feels heavy because it's stretching you into the version of yourself that's capable of handling your destiny. If you run from pain, you also run from your power. Every great achievement is born out of discomfort. The people who create real impact are those who've learned to endure storms without losing direction. They've learned that the pain of growth is temporary, but the reward of growth is permanent. Each time you face a challenge and keep moving, you're teaching your mind that it can survive difficulty. That knowledge builds unshakable confidence, the kind that can't be taught, only earned. There's no strength without struggle. You can read every book, attend every seminar, repeat every affirmation, but until you learn how to endure discomfort and keep moving, you'll never reach your full potential. Pain is not there to stop you, it's there to shape you. It stretches your capacity to handle more, to become more, and to believe more. Without it, you stay small, fragile, and fearful. With it, you grow bold, resilient, and powerful. Every time you choose to stay in the fight when quitting feels easier, you're rewriting your story. You're proving to yourself that pain is not your limitation, it's your transformation. You're proving that what tried to break you only built you stronger. The more you lean into the pain instead of running from it, the more you'll realize that it was never there to destroy you. It was there to develop you into the person capable of carrying everything you've been praying for. Action is the spark that ignites momentum. Most people sit around waiting for inspiration to appear, but inspiration doesn't visit the still, it visits the moving. You can think about your dreams all day. You can plan every step in your head, but nothing changes until you act. The moment you take that first imperfect step, energy starts to flow. It's like pushing a heavy rock uphill. At first, it takes all your strength, but once it starts rolling, momentum carries it forward. That's how success works. It begins with movement, not motivation. There is a power that awakens within you when you act, even when you don't know what the next step looks like. Action brings clarity. You can't think your way into progress. You have to move your way into it. Every small step forward reveals something new, teaches you something valuable, and strengthens your belief in yourself. Waiting for the perfect moment is just another form of fear disguised as wisdom. The truth is, the perfect moment is created by the courage to start where you are with what you have. When you take action, you separate yourself from the majority of people who stay trapped in overthinking. Overthinking kills more dreams than failure ever will. People analyze every possibility until they paralyze themselves. But movement breaks that paralysis. Even the smallest act toward your goal builds momentum. That motion creates confidence, and confidence multiplies your courage. The moment you start doing, you start believing that you can. The hardest part is always the beginning. That first step will feel uncertain, uncomfortable, maybe even terrifying. But once you move, something shifts, your energy changes. Your perspective expands. You start to see that what looked impossible was just unfamiliar. The more you act, the less power fear has over you. The only way to weaken fear is through motion, because fear feeds on hesitation. When you move, fear loses its grip. Momentum doesn't come from big leaps, it comes from consistent motion. The daily disciplines, the quiet persistence, the willingness to show up again and again, that's what builds unstoppable force. Every day you choose to act, even when you don't feel like it, you're building a rhythm that success can follow. That rhythm becomes momentum, and momentum becomes mastery. You don't need to sprint. You just need to keep walking in the right direction. The reason action is so powerful is because it transforms your mindset. You stop identifying as someone who wishes and start becoming someone who works. Every action is a vote for the future you're trying to create. Each small decision compounds over time until it becomes a new reality. Consistency compounds faster than intensity ever will. You don't need to do it all at once. You just need to keep doing something every day that moves you forward. People often believe motivation leads to action, but in reality, action creates motivation. The feeling of accomplishment that comes after doing the hard thing fuels your desire to keep going. You don't wait for confidence to act, you act your way into confidence. Every time you do what you said you would do, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. That self-belief becomes momentum, and that momentum creates breakthroughs. There will be days when you don't see results, when your effort feels invisible, when progress feels painfully slow. But that's when momentum is quietly building. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean it's not happening. The process is working even when the progress is hidden. Every action plants a seed that will grow if you keep watering it with consistency. Success is not about speed, it's about direction and endurance. Action also destroys doubt. The more you move, the less time you have to question yourself. When you're focused on execution, you silence the inner critic that feeds on procrastination. Doubt thrives in inactivity, but dies in momentum. Every time you act, you reclaim your authority over your own life. You stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself permission to grow, to try, to learn, to rise. The power of action is not in perfection, but in persistence. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step. Every step creates movement. Every movement creates momentum, and momentum eventually creates mastery. Once you start, keep going, because motion is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. Growth never happens inside the walls of comfort. The people who rise, the ones who break limitations, are those who learn to do it anyway, tired, afraid, unsure, unmotivated. Waiting to feel brave before taking a step is a trap that keeps countless dreams buried. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move despite it. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you take back power from the emotions that try to hold you still. You learn that you don't need everything to be perfect to begin. You just need to decide that standing still is no longer an option. Fear is loud in the beginning because it's trying to protect you from the unknown, but the unknown is where every breakthrough lies. When you do it anyway, you quiet the noise. Your steps become louder than your doubts. Fear loses its authority when it realizes you're not waiting for its permission. It will still whisper. It will still try to convince you to delay, but your movement speaks louder than any voice of hesitation. Fear only controls the ones who keep listening. The moment you act, its power fades. Confidence is not something you find before starting. It's something you build while doing. Nobody starts with all the answers. Nobody begins with unshakable belief. Confidence grows in motion, in the small acts of faith, in the steps you take even when the outcome is unclear. When you keep moving forward through uncertainty, your confidence begins to take root. It's built in silence, in the moments where you wanted to give up but didn't. It's forged every time you push forward when no one is watching. The reality is, most people never discover their strength because they avoid discomfort. They think discomfort means they're not ready, but discomfort is proof that growth is near. The unfamiliar feeling that makes your heart race and your hands shake is the exact place where transformation begins. If you can learn to lean into that feeling instead of running from it, you'll find out just how powerful you really are. Every big win is born from a moment when someone decided to act, even when they were scared. You will not always feel qualified, prepared, or equipped, but your progress does not depend on your feelings. It depends on your decision. Do it unsure. Do it shaking. Do it afraid. Because hesitation creates distance, but action creates opportunity. When you choose to move in the middle of fear, you're teaching yourself that your purpose is louder than your emotions. You're rewriting the script of your life from waiting to walking. There's a powerful shift that happens when you stop trying to eliminate fear and start walking with it. You stop giving it power it never deserved. You realize fear doesn't disappear after you succeed. It disappears the moment you act. It loses its grip the moment you prove it wrong. And every time you move forward, it gets smaller. Eventually, the thing that once felt impossible becomes normal. And you look back and wonder why you ever hesitated in the first place. Doing it anyway also builds resilience. Every act of courage strengthens your ability to handle the next challenge. Fear doesn't get weaker, you get stronger. The same situation that used to intimidate you begins to feel like nothing compared to what you've already overcome. That's how growth works. You don't wait for the world to become less intimidating. You rise until it no longer intimidates you. There will always be excuses that sound reasonable, reasons to delay, and moments that tempt you to shrink. But no great story was ever written by someone who played it safe. Playing it safe keeps you stuck in the same cycle. Doing it anyway breaks the cycle. When you take bold steps, even small ones, you set a new standard for yourself. You start seeing yourself not as someone who needs everything perfect, but as someone who moves forward no matter what. Every single time you act in the face of fear, something inside of you expands. Your world gets bigger. Your possibilities multiply. What once seemed unreachable slowly comes closer because your actions pull it toward you.